a very, very quick video because I'm aware that some of you, and not all of you in fact, are on social media and you might not have heard the news yet. The news is that Vladimír Coufal has signed a new 3-year deal with an option for a further year. He's committed his future to West Ham, and let's be fair, 28, 29, that is pretty much his future. He's actually said, once a hammer, always a hammer, which is nice to hear, really, isn't it? I'm really, really pleased about this deal, aside from the obvious. We'll get to the obvious in just a second. I won't keep you long, by the way. The reason I'm pleased about it is because earlier on in the transfer window, let's say, there were some rumours getting leaked. There were some stories. Vladimír Coufal is unhappy. Vladimír Coufal is insulted by the offer that West Ham United have made. We covered it a few times on this channel. If you remember, Alan Woody, he sent in a video as well discussing it. And I felt this was all part, and I said so at the time, of an effort to undermine West Ham. And certainly in terms of the takeover. As I've already mentioned, it was advantageous to a takeover for West Ham to start the season badly. It was advantageous to the takeover for Declan Rice to leave, for us not to sign any players. And added in on an extra layer of that was, of course, that this fantastic right-back that we signed, and I do think we're dealing with one of the best right-backs in the league here. If the narrative was also thus that actually we can't afford to pay him new wages, he's insulted by it, and as a result he may well leave. Well, you add all those things together and people are going to get angry and say, well, hold on a second, we need this. We need these people to take over the club. We need Pi Capital to take over. And I do think it was all part of the same... I'm not suggesting it was all propaganda from Pi or whatever, but I think it certainly suited a purpose at the time. And very much I said, this is just a transfer negotiation. Sorry, not a transfer. This is just a contract negotiation. It's going to be quite normal when you have any sort of negotiation, any sort of bartering. Crikey. I mean, I was trying to buy a new camera lens from eBay the other day. You know, I mean, the guy wanted £80. I went in with £50. He said, no, we came to an agreement. £85. No, I'm joking. You know, look, there was just a little bit of that. It was quite weird, really, because I don't think any of us expected Vladimír Coufal to be as good as he was and to have the impact that he did. Maybe, quite possibly, even Vladimír Coufal didn't expect himself to have the impact that he did. Otherwise, he might have asked for more wages at the outset. But whatever. I think he was brought in on relatively low wages for a West Ham player, for a Premier League player, some might say. But I think comparatively, probably more wages than he was on at Slavia Prague. When it became evident that he was the first name on the team sheet in terms of the right-backs, he'd pushed Ryan Fredericks down, then you have an issue. And I'll tell you why you have an issue, because Ryan Fredericks was on 50 grand a week. I don't know what Coufal was on. I'm thinking it's about 35 at that point. Now, I don't think that tells all the story. Ryan Fredericks was on an inflated wage because he didn't cost a transfer fee. He was free from Fulham. He'd run his contract down, if you remember. Whereas Coufal cost, where was that? 5.4 million, I think, was the quoted figure. Okay, no problem at all. That would explain why the expenditure on Frederick's wages was higher than that of Coufal. But I think the moment Coufal becomes the better player, the more established player, the chosen, the first choice right back, then really he's going to be saying, oi, he's on more money than me and I'm a better player than him. And so it goes. So I think there was just a little bit of a negotiation there. Obviously, West Ham's first offer, I guess, was not enough. But we've seen this. We've seen this time and time again. And I think it's, particularly when we're annoyed with inactivity at West Ham, we get annoyed that we don't just go in with the highest offer for everything every time, all the time. Well, we can't do that. Clearly, you've got to have some form of negotiation. I think if we'd have gone in initially with the wages that, as rumoured, the Zuma rumour, that he wanted 140 grand a week, there's no way we could have done that. It's not a case of just give him what he wants. No, don't. Have a negotiation. I don't know what Zuma signed for, but I think it's at least 40 grand less than that. So clearly our first offering wasn't to Coufal's liking, but then Coufal will turn around and say, no, I don't accept that. We want this. And then the club will turn around and say, well, okay, we're not quite where we're at the moment. What about this? It's a negotiation. But the fact that it would be used as a stick to almost try and shoehorn to try and shoehorn in some new owners, I don't think was particularly great at the time. But it did suit a purpose. It was always a negotiation. He was always going to stay very, very happy in London. And I said this when we signed Alex Crowell. Alex Crowell told you one thing, and that was that Coufal was going to sign a new deal. And that's what he did. I'm less confident, having said all of this, I'm less confident that this particular way of doing things will be fruitful in Declan Rice's new contract. I think somebody asked me on the comments on the Declan Rice video earlier, why are you so sure that he wants to leave? And it's not that I'm so sure he wants to leave. The point is we know he's turned down 2 contracts now. And the word from the journalist that has the ear of, which is Matt Law. Matt Law has the ear of Rice's advisors. The message has very, very much been, and it's come through 3 times now, don't bother making a 3rd offer. So that's why I think that we're on sort of borrowed time with Declan there. I hope it's not the case. I hope he signs a new deal. But I'm not so sure that that's part of the transfer negotiation. Maybe it is, and I'm hoping it just is. That's them saying, no, we're not listening anymore. So then that panics David Sullivan into saying, oh, okay, we'll give you 150 grand a week or whatever the money might be that they're looking for. I have a feeling it's less to do with wages, weekly wages, and more to do with the buyout clause. But as I said in this morning's video, I do think that buyout clause is going to be have to be reviewed by everybody. It has to be said. Funny enough, since then, another stat has come up. And to be fair, I had been told this before, but because Gio mentioned it to me, and that is that Declan Rice has made more passes forward into the final third than any other midfielder in the Premier League this season. It's like 49. Ruben Neves done 48, Tillerman's 42, Henderson 31, Højbjerg 30. And in most cases, also carried the ball into the final third, so I guess a dribble, more than anybody else as well. Declan Rice 20 times he's carried the ball, dribbled the ball into the final third. Then Smith Rowe 18, then Fernandes 17, Kovacic, then Bernardo Silva. I mean, these are highly impressive stats because we know we've seen before that Declan Rice is often up there with interceptions and breaking up play. I mean, this is what I was saying, we're dealing with an all-round midfielder. Sorry, I've gone from Coufal to Declan Rice. But there's contract negotiations going on with both. You know, my point is Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. If he wants to be paid as so, and I think we should pay him as such, then the buyout clause should represent that. You can't look at those numbers and say it's the best player in the Premier League and then say, oh, by the way, he's available for 60 million, because 60 million don't get you the best midfielder in the league, gets you Ndombele, basically. So, nothing wrong with him, by the way. I think he's a very, very good player. But anyway, yeah, so Coufal signing, absolutely massive. Sorry, I've kept you for much longer than I thought. I would, or I hoped I would, but you know me, I've got verbal diarrhea, can't stop talking. Match day tomorrow. Enjoy what's left of your Saturday. And, well, it's match day, right? Patreon breakfast. Probably cheeky forum video in the morning. Build-up show. Watch along with Charlie. Review. And player ratings. It's all going on. We've got loads and loads of videos tomorrow. I'll see you then.